Welcome, everybody, back to Editing with My Wife, now with intro music. And a little bit of a change. She's going to be reading the story, and I'm going to be typing more. Talking a little less.
So are we reading the whole chapter 2?
I think a paragraph at a time, work on the paragraph, move it up when we're done, and keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. And I could put this on YouTube with this showing.
You could.
And I don't think that would be a bad idea. So you may find this on YouTube. We may have to redo the first episode, or I could just show the footage of it as we're editing. Okay, I could just show it, and then so this one you may be able to find on YouTube with this as video if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Because this is just I can take a footage of this moving, and you can have it as we're talking. All right. Now that said, we can move on. To the first chapter, or second chapter. Well, let's discuss what happened in the first one. Why don't you go ahead and start?
So, in the first chapter, you learn about Leslie and... Why can't I remember their dad's name?
That's funny. It's the very first line.
It's the
very first word in the very first line. Robert. His name's
Robert. Robert.
Do they have a last name? Did I ever write that down?
I don't think you ever wrote the last name.
Huh.
Leslie and Robert. You learned a little bit about them, and Leslie is a renowned scientist and was doing an experiment about opening up portals, and was pregnant with twins. Ended up splitting.
She did not do that on purpose. She was unaware she was pregnant at the time.
Yeah, she was unaware. She was actually unaware of the actual splitting of the Earth too.
Yeah.
And
one
on
was.
Each side there was a different set of twins. On one side there was boy twins. You have Renner and Otto. On the other side you have girl twins, which is Hannah and Izzy.
Now, anyone listening on Spotify got that question, theoretically. So how would you describe the characters of these 4 kids? Because they're the main characters.
Right.
And who's in lead and who's in last, would you say? From in authority position.
Oh, who's in
Which is,
last?
I think, an interesting question, yeah.
Okay, so you have Renner, who seems like very kind of sporty.
Active.
Yeah, he's very, very, very active.
Mm-hmm. I imagine he's active in his community, too. Bake sales, he's out volunteering places, raking lawns for the elderly, that kind of thing.
Right.
Real sweet guy. Babyface, too. Babyface Adonis.
Baby-faced Adonis.
Maybe I need to put that in there.
Then you have Otto, who seems more reserved, but at the same time,
witty.
Clever. Witty. But I think I'm pulling a little more from what I know of the story.
Future,
yeah.
Which is fine.
So,
if you guys didn't see this, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
I don't know how they let us know on podcasting.
Not sure.
Well, YouTube, look up that.
Then you have...
Which we'll leave the credits on the end there, and I'll let you know where to go.
You have Izzy, who seems kind of like punk rocker-ish kind of gal, but not... she wears dark clothing, but she's not in...
She's not a dark mood.
She's not a dark mood,
yeah.
No. She's just there.
Ready to go. Present.
Yeah. And you got Hannah, who's just the sweetest little gumdrop you could possibly eat.
She loves fearlessly.
Yeah.
She's just crazy. And in the future, you'll find that fearlessness. It's pretty intense, I think. But anyway.
And then you said order.
Yes, I thought that was the order you were putting them in.
No, I was just listening off the twins because I wouldn't put them in that order. I would think, and I can use future knowledge, not just what I've heard. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Renner, definitely a leader.
Yeah.
Izzy, I think, is the next leader. She seems a little more headstrong.
She's also a little more defiant.
She is.
Whereas Renner will go with the flow and be gentle about it.
Yeah. And then Hannah, and then sadly, I put Otto as last.
Yes, I agree. The sense of humor is the thing that ties him to them. He's the one that can even lift Hannah's spirits, and if that happens, then everyone's good. So,
But
Hannah's a prankster too, isn't she?
yes. Because
You'll find that out.
The twinsies, it's not just twins.
It is twins. It's twins, but it's got an apostrophe after it. Like there's plural twins, right? Is it no, that's after it's possessive. So it's twin apostrophe S.
Yeah.
No, because that's possessive.
Yeah, it's possessive.
It would just be twins. That's confusing.
That is
The set of twins.
They what was I getting at with that?
I don't know.
Oh wow, I lost.
Roll back the tape.
Roll back the tape.
Well, that being said, the story started. And it started very briefly after the explanation of these characters. What happened?
So, Mom came back from... So, after the explanation of the characters and learning about their powers, and Mom came back from DC on the girls' side. A little changed, a little different. And with Hannah kind of understanding about, like, pushing her own emotions out, could probably read other people's emotions fairly
and
well.
having Izzy there, who's so... she's ready to see it. She isn't going to lie. She's very bullheaded about it, too.
And the boys wouldn't... I mean, there's no distrust between the four of them. There's no...
Well, how can you do that if one of them is feeding you their emotions, you know? You trust him.
Yeah.
You see it in them, and then you feel it from them, and it's...
But she also doesn't, like, she doesn't... When someone's sad, she doesn't push happy emotion on them. She puts calming,
She like
comforting.
uses it to calm them down and help them through whatever they're going through.
Yeah, she doesn't get rid of sad. She gets...
But we didn't actually explain that they have power. Outside of being a set of twins that are technically the same person, even though they're separate genders. They each have a power. And they each have a power, and it's got a theme to it. They have a name to each of it, and it's...
Yeah.
Well, I was just like, we should just say it. It's nautical. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story. It just happens to be nautical. Like, Izzy's the winch because she can pull her siblings to her, and they just kind of walk out of her.
Yeah.
And then Hannah is the one who can push her emotions out onto the other three, so they can feel it no matter where they are. And then Renner, well, I guess we should start with Otto. Otto has the periscope. He puts his hands in the right position, and he can open up a portal to the other world and see through it and even speak through it if he knew. But he can also, with his help of his brother, open a portal to another space that's just this white space, and that's Renner. Renner gets that. Yeah. He controls it. Nobody else has control. They don't go in there and wish. Only Renner wishes and gets it.
Right.
And it's all fake. It's all for entertainment. It's all for fun. None of it can.
It's like a little
out.
Pocket dimension.
Yeah.
That he can.
A little space to call his own.
Yeah.
And he often invites his siblings. And then there's one last character.
Which we did talk about, Katie.
Yes, she had a brief introduction. She's an integral character in this. You'll see her again.
Which is...
frequently. It's weird how long it takes.
Renner's love.
It's his first love. And his only love, I think.
His first and only, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true love.
If true love is a kind of love that is an escape from a horrible nightmare of a home, because Katie grew up with an abusive father who killed his mother. Her mother.
Her mother, yeah.
Not his mother. I don't know, maybe he did. Alright, so that's the story so far, and what happened at the end was...
the girls were packing up and leaving because they didn't want to risk... because Otto saw the girls' mom talking about opening a permanent portal. And to protect everybody, they decided to leave to figure out what to do. So they were going to go on the boys' side. And while the three of them were on that side, Izzy was staying there to grab one more thing, which you never actually explained the one more thing.
It got interrupted. She didn't have a chance to do it.
So she never actually grabbed the one more thing.
Yeah, it was probably like a pair of underwear or something. I
don't know. The girl's dad came in through the door, pleading with her to stay, and...
really confused and hurting and scared for losing his daughters.
Yes.
Which one of them is behind a portal with two men that she doesn't know.
That he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And there's that big dog.
And there is a big dog he's never seen before.
Which is named Bunker, Bunkr, not spelled correctly because he was a kid.
And blocks her from going through the portal, so she decides to push the button on a box she got from a dream.
Yeah. No explanation except for
It
briefly
needs help.
before she leaves, and except for that he needs help, apparently. So now she hit that button and disappeared right in front of her father.
They're like,
Just
well,
gone.
what do we do now?
And they close the portal and walk away.
And Izzy says, well, she'll wench us.
Yeah, she needs us. She'll get us up there. All right. So this is where it starts. We're going to follow Izzy now because that was where it ended, and now we're switching to Izzy.
Yes.
So we're going to see what happened when she hit the button.
Chapter 2. Izzy was standing in the middle of a vast open space. A kind of mossy grass covered the ground. Vines climbed up and stretched out almost forever, as if forming the hull of a massive vessel. She reached out and touched it. It was like metal. On the other side, the vast emptiness of space. She let out a sigh as she turned around. All around her was an intricate latticework of vines and hardened sap.
Maybe this place would become known.
That would become. Oh wait, hold on. I can't edit and the fly like this. This place will become to be known as home. Would come to be known as home. She began to get a glimpse of the enormity of the vessel she was inside of. Well, the comments are not there right because I took a breath. I took a pause.
Yeah, that shouldn't. You're right. It should be at the end though.
Oh, wrong line. You want to go down one. She began to get a glimpse of the enormity of the vessel she was inside of. When she looked behind her, she saw the mountain and the 3 roads leading to various places from where she was standing. The path to the left of the mountain led to a forest. The path to the right leading to a lake. The lake was calling to her, but the voice... Blah, blah, blah.
You just ruined a great line.
I did. I'm going to start over.
Yeah.
The lake was calling to her, but the forest had a voice all its own. There were structures all around the 3 geographical features, each seeming to come from a different alien race. Some in better shape than others. Some were just built better than others. All of them were still standing. She began walking to the nearest structure, and then she blinked her eyes, and she was standing before it. Hannah's worry began to grow entangled with Izzy's own worry, like a nagging feeling that something was wrong, only to be beaten by Izzy's powerful curiosity. So I feel like a lot of that, I mean, feels...
It's pretty strong.
It is very
What do you
strong.
What do you think about this? Is that really awesome? Or what?
The lake was calling to her, but the forest had a voice all its own. You're not pulling all of it.
Oh, weird.
Wait.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just that first line.
Oh, I missed a line. All
right. But the worry quickly took back over when she heard a faint, "Help me." It came from the forest, but she was so unreasonably far away that it felt like a 2-day walk. She began walking towards the forest, and before she knew it, she was at the edge of the forest, whose trees tower over her at a gut-wrenching height. The voice didn't let up. "Help me." It sounded like a dying being. Okay, let me do that again because I want to read it right.
It's funny you're using the screen and not the phone.
Because I can see it.
It is very clear, isn't it?
Yeah. It sounded like a dying being trying to desperately get some help before it was too late. Had Izzy not hit the button today, the being may not have survived.
A little bit of foreshadowing. It feels a little out of place, but it kind of goes along with that line about the forest had a voice all its own, I think.
Yeah.
It's hinting at there's something bigger going on, I think. Anything you would change? Maybe. No. Yeah, it's pretty basic. Not much to lead on there.
Yeah. I think most of your your epilogue is where a lot of the editing need to be had because it's a little choppy and so we need to smooth it out.
Wait until you get to the dialogue because that's where it probably needs the most work. And honestly, what I do with auto needs some help.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, which is strange because I feel like he's the closest to me. you know, and maybe that's why, because I don't see myself.
I also
well
wonder
enough.
is like when you're writing about people, you struggle a little bit, but when you're writing about this scenery,
or story,
or you're smoother. So
yeah.
All right, so
We're gonna stop there. Okay.
Yeah,
not up here.
Yeah. After what seemed like only a few minutes, she came upon the sound. It was emanating from a small creek where it had been. It was emanating from a small creek where it had been.
Where it was being.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
I know.
Had been because it's currently being.
Yeah. It was emanating from a small creek where it was being blocked by a rather large fallen tree. Izzy reasoned that if she could remove the log, that it might be the help that the being was asking for. As if in agreement, the river babbled, "Help, remove." Izzy grabbed a length of sturdy vine, wrapped it around the log, and over a nearby tree branch, lifted it up until it flipped over the mouth of the river. Lifted it up until it flipped over out of the mouth of the river. There we go. Now I can read words right. A rush of sound that is only ever heard in the depths of a distant, isolated forest.
That has only ever been heard, is what I should say there.
Okay.
Because that's the only place you would hear this. I don't know that I've ever heard of the Babbling Brook in another story.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very original idea.
And you see, like, I like deleting some of your ands when I'm reading it.
That's fair enough. Tell me where it is and I'll delete.
I think it was Izzy grabbed the length of sturdy vine, wrapped it around a big log, and over a nearby tree branch, lifted it up. So
this first one, if you erase that, well, if you erase that, then it's
No, you keep the first one. You keep the first one, and delete the second one.
Read that.
Izzy grabbed a length of sturdy vine, wrapped it around the log, over a nearby tree branch, and lifted it up until it flipped over out of the mouth of the river.
Yeah, there is something in that line that could be changed entirely. Maybe it's two sentences. Izzy grabbed the length of sturdy vine, wrapped it around the base of the log, or wrapped it around the part that was in the mouth of the river, then threw the vine over another tree branch and hoisted. That's the word I'm missing. Not lifted it up, but hoisted. And then it was grabbed a length of sturdy vine, wrapped it around the log, wrapped it around the
base
part of the log,
wrapped it around
in
a part.
the mouth of the river.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then I end that sentence right there.
Yeah.
And then
securing it. Oh yeah, that's her.
Through the vine.
That's her leverage.
Okay, yeah. Through the vine over a nearby tree branch, which the TR is missing, so it's just an E branch. And hoisted it up until it flipped out of the river. We don't need over. Yeah. Until it flipped out of the mouth of the river.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a vine, not a vibe.
A vibe? What's a vibe?
Sony Vive? Is that a thing?
A Sony Vive? No.
What is it, Mitsubishi? Okay, well, that was an interesting thing to do, but now we can go here. The babbling began.
Then the babbling really began. Whole words coming out like splashes of river rocks. Some loud and thunderous, others barely registering to the human ear. It began babbling loudly about the mountain cave missing a certain stone to allow its propulsion, and quickly and quietly about the impurities in the lake that can be cleaned by a certain plant in the forest. It spoke of exact quantities and exotic locations. Through all the noise, Izzy heard one that caught her attention. It was the part about a pan-cultural, pan-dimensional communication apparatus designated Zig.
I think I need to change one thing. I would call them pan-cultural, extra-dimensional.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Or what if I used ultra? Because we were just talking about that and how it means beyond. Like, it's broken past dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ultra-dimensional.
It's true. He has a kind of control over every dimension of himself.
Yeah.
Himself in every dimension. In fact, Zig itself, the whole ship, I just kind of gave it away, is that.
Yeah.
I didn't say his name yet. It's coming right here.
I did say Zig.
Oh, it's the last thing. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't finished that.
Okay, so what are you getting from this? This is a very specific thing I'm trying to say.
So it seems like this is how you communicate with this ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, instead of having a computer panel that reads out everything that's going on, you have this babbling brook.
You listen to the river.
Yeah, the river starts talking about how...
And the louder it is, the more important it is, right?
Yeah.
The loud, thunderous one about...
propulsion,
because it needs to be able to power itself, and propulsion is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And then...
impurities in the lake.
That's quiet because it's not important right now. And in fact, if anything, we have a certain character who may be putting them in there. Like, True.
Yeah.
You know who that is.
Yeah.
All right.
So she spoke. Help me find Zig. Izzy openly pleaded to the stream. Is where now I officially read that whole paragraph.
So it does get across what I want. And then what about this? Is this too deep of a concept?
Okay.
Because it is super deep.
Let me read it out loud and we can talk about it again.
Just what is Zig?
Yeah. It was the part about a pan-cultural, ultra-dimensional communication apparatus designated Zig. Oftentimes you're sitting about this, and you're not saying what it is. And there's no... You're pointing it out to me, but you can't point it out to someone listening.
Pan-cultural, ultra-dimensional communication apparatus. What does that say?
So it is it seems to be like cross-culture. No matter what
culture you are.
It will find a way to communicate.
All culture.
Across
it all.
Ultra-dimensional, I think, gets a little stopped up in my brain.
You listen to an anime that says "Go plus Ultra" as like a battle cry, and I'm using the word ultra here specifically.
Well, now that we've discussed about it.
As if pan isn't enough. It's not just across it, it's all through it. It's in it, and it understands the whole thing.
Yeah.
Beyond what anyone else here understands.
Uh-huh.
And it truly is a they, them. Just so you know. Like, truly.
Yeah.
There's more than one of them.
A communication apparatus.
But that's not too deep of a cut? Or is this too deep? Because I could just put extra there.
That's a good question.
I like it as ultra. Because then it would make people think about it. But, yeah. What's the idea? What does it do? If this is a part of the ship, what does this part of the ship do?
It's almost like a true interface for not just the ship. It seems like. Mm-hmm. Like, it could be a mediator anywhere. It's like the brain of the ship. Yeah.
Able to communicate with any being. And that's, I think, what Izzy sees, because Izzy's brilliant, just like her mother. Mm. She gets it right away. Hannah, not so much. She's having fun a lot of the times, which is good.
And
she needs
it's not that she's not bright, but that's not her first.
Yeah, that's not her forte. Her forte is in emotions.
Yes.
She can help them more than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Logic versus emotion, neither of them... Wait, you're not getting it all.
Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. I think you're just excited.
All
right. It responded with a near unanimous. At the cave at the base of the mountain and at the bottom of the lake, the levers must be pulled simultaneously. While the other babbling was saying important information like in the cave of marble to the right is the lever. And by the entertaining coral swim fast for it approaches slowly.
That entertaining coral comes back. Do you remember it at all?
A little bit.
Okay. I don't want to push any farther. I was just curious.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so real quick, it responded with near unanimous at the cave at the base of the mountain and at the bottom of the lake. The levers must be pulled simultaneously. That sounds fine. While the other babbling was saying important information like...
What about quiet babbling? Because that was the idea.
Well, quiet.
Like I didn't mean to capitalize. The idea is that the important information, this big, loud, unanimous sound, in the cave at the base of the mountain and in the lake, there's levers that need to be pulled.
Yeah.
Done. We need to do it simultaneously. Very important.
Yes.
And then all the other bits came out multiple times, maybe.
Well, and it's like here's the main information and here's the little bits of information. Okay. While quiet babbling was
repeated. Important information.
I see.
So it's like quietly it's repeating it over and over so you can latch onto that should you need it. So if you didn't need to know about the cave lever, you don't need that information. You listen to the other one. You ignore that because you don't need the cave. And the quiet babbling allows for that. And it's just constantly kind of babbling quietly so you can get that information whenever you need it. And you can hear it again and again if you need to.
So with my problems with my hearing, that would drive me absolutely bonkers.
I don't think that would be a problem on Zig, but I hear what you're saying.
It's not necessarily... It's not... Oh, how do I say this then? It's not over each other. It's like...
Well, think about
a big klaxon going off and people running through the halls, like the skittering of the shoes. They don't go over each other, but you can hear both just fine.
For you. For me, most sounds are like walking to a room and everybody's talking. You can't pick out one conversation or another. It's all there.
Gotta train your ears.
It's not my ears, though.
Well, I mean, metaphorically, yeah. Train your brain to use your ears in a specific way, yeah.
Yeah. It's a struggle, and I struggle with it a lot.
Is there more I should add in? I think that quiet babbling repeated was a great addition.
It's the next two bits of information that's given. In the cave of marble to the right is the lever, which makes sense.
That's where the lever is.
And by the entertaining coral, swim fast for it approaches slowly. Excuse me. I remember bits of information from the future.
Approaches slowly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What swim fast for it approaches slowly? Now,
well, I think that might have been other information. They say all the things you need in the quiet babbling.
Yeah.
So that's why it's repeating the important information. And these are just some of the important information. And I think this is, to be honest, Troon. He was in the lake at the time. And then they walked and the time passed and Troon went over to the cave. And if they had listened to the babbling at the time, they would have heard that.
Okay.
So swim fast because Troon is deadly. But he left the cave to go sleep, or left the lake to go sleep, and you'll meet him in a minute.
Okay.
You won't know it's him, I don't think, but it's interesting for sure. All right.
Reset. All the necessary information was repeated until Izzy stepped away and the noise of the gentle stream returned. She reeled at the complexity of the task ahead of her. Her head began to ache. She felt... Gosh! I gotta slow down.
Everyone take a deep breath.
She figured that if this doesn't work and they become stranded, Renard would get it. And, almost as if it was natural to her, Renner occupied the same space and time as Izzy.
Yeah, Renner would understand. Or maybe even if I need to say, Renner would understand if he got trapped up here. Maybe. I'm not being clear about that.
No.
Renner would get it. It's kind of vague.
No, Renner would understand. So, yeah, that kind of helps...
But I could say Renner would understand if he got trapped up here with her.
Well, no, it says she figured that if this doesn't work and they become stranded, Renner would understand.
Renner would get it as a more colloquial way, and understand as a more clear way.
Yes.
Okay. And then he boop, and what happens?
And almost as if it was natural to her, Renner occupied the same space and time as Izzy. She's fine, Renner finished as he took a step out of the same space as Izzy.
What's wrong?
You have that twice. Occupied the same space and time as Izzy, and then as he took a step out.
Of Izzy. We could just do that.
You don't even have to do that as he took a step out.
Well, but if I say of Izzy, at least there can be no confusion.
Okay.
Right? Oh. All right.
I mean, yeah.
Read it again to make sure it sounds right.
Okay. And almost as if it was natural to her, Renner occupied the same space and time as Izzy. She's fine, Renner finished as he took a step out of Izzy. I could just say I would be happy with just take a step out.
Okay. No, just...
Because you already explained what kind of is happening here, and he's realizing, like, you feel in this moment that he's,
I could even
realizing.
say, I could just say, Renner finished as he stepped out.
Yeah.
No, took a step is fine.
Took a step is fine. He turned around to face her, and with a big grin and a giant bear hug said, I was just telling him you were fine. Her relief was amplified by Hannah's realization. That Renner... Okay. Oh, you need a comma there, and not capitalize that. I read it as 2 separate sentences.
Where?
I was just telling him you were fine. Her relief was amplified by Hannah's realization that Renner was winched.
Oh my goodness.
And that means she was alive. For now. So far, so good. So far, so good.
Yeah, keep going.
Renner listened to the babbling brook. After a few seconds, he let out an audible laugh. How are we supposed to accomplish that? Renner said, shocked at the prospect of what they were being asked to do by a river.
Hold on. I have to add something right here because I think it'll fit in.
Okay.
Oh no, he can't. Never mind.
Okay. Izzy grabbed his hand and simply said, walk with me a moment. After what seemed like only minutes, they had traveled back to home. What is this place? Renard asked. Izzy shrugged her shoulders, then gestured for him to look back. He stopped in his tracks. Is that the forest we were just inside of? His mouth was agape in shock. That's... Okay, hold on.
Because he goes towards home and it's like he didn't notice
I can't
the
read
difference.
The next line.
Oh.
Gape in shock.
Where is it?
Get rid of that. It's after shock.
Where...
Keep coming. No, you're almost there.
Oh, there
right there. Get rid of that. And put the K back. Shockle. It's like 40 miles away, and I can almost see all of it.
Like when you're really high up in a mountain, or on a hill, and the forest is really far away, you can kind of grasp the edges.
Yeah.
That's really far away.
Yes. He rubbed his eyes and then concluded, it's massive. This is where I first appeared when I pushed the button, Izzy explained, as she started back towards the mountain. What seemed like a 2-day journey was done in 2 minutes. Renner understood. They began walking towards the mountain.
Let's leave it there. Anything you would add to that? Because this is a lot we've got.
They're already walking back towards the mountain. So they don't need they begin walking toward the mountain. They're already headed that way.
Oh, yeah, right here. It's like repeated right there.
Yeah.
Or I could just do that.
Well, no, because what seemed like a 2-day walk.
Izzy explained as they started back, not just she.
Yeah.
And then what seemed like a 2-day journey. What seems like a 2-day journey done in 2 minutes. Renner understood. They began walking towards the mountain. So you leave the mountain on the first one.
Okay.
But I think a so with a comma would be good. So they began walking back towards the mountain.
They began walking towards the mountain.
They made the decision to go towards the mountain.
Okay.
So, on this strange foreign place they have, there is a mountain, a lake, a forest, right?
Yes.
And there's pathways to them from this not central, but actually like the back of the ship, the back location. And other than that, it seems fine. I think the dialogue's a little clunky. Other than that, I think I'm okay with that.
I don't think the dialogue is as clunky as you might think.
Well, it's almost like... Where is it? This doesn't need to be said.
What?
But there's no way to... The idea is, I guess... There's nothing else to explain. Now Renner knows what happened. She pushed the button, got up there, looked around just like he did, and then went to the forest. No other confusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's fine.
Maybe this is where I first appeared when I pushed the button before I went to the forest. So that way he understands he's never been to the mountain or the lake. Right? Just maybe there's some confusion on Renner's side. Like, have you been there, or did you already walk there? Because it was only a 2-minute walk.
Yeah.
But I guess the time hasn't like moved differently for him. So he's been there for only 2 or 3 minutes before she winches him. It's not very long.
Okay.
It's just a boop. So I guess there's no real worry. Because the worry was there from Hannah. She was thinking about her and concerned about her sister who just disappeared in front of her, right in front of her and her father. And her brothers.
But it does also... I don't know. It seems like 2 minutes is too short. She did spend some time listening to the lake, trying to suss out that information.
And she did spend some time getting the log up and over, and she did spend some time stopping at a single location.
Yeah, so, I mean, we could think about this as a 30-minute space of time.
Maybe. That would be max, yeah. I would say closer to 15.
Yeah.
Because the travel looks long, but it isn't. And actually, you get a glimpse of it later in this series, in this story. You see it. You see why it's happening and how it's happening. It's kind of interesting.
Excuse me again.
All right. On to the next section.
Okay. Hold on. Nope. Scroll.
I just want to see something.
How far?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much.
As they begin their first impossible task of the day, Izzy felt the need to fill the space. Okay, so here's my theory, she started as she pulled out the box, feeling its edges. This is a space vessel, orbiting Earth. Earth is unaware, somehow. And we're the only people that know about it. The people that were here, seem to be gone. Izzy pointed at all the various buildings dotting the landscape, and then continued. And for whatever reason, the beings in charge have all disappeared. I said that wrong. And the beings in charge have all disappeared. I opened... Excuse me.
I'm not editing that out, guys, so enjoy the cough.
Oh. Talking all day at work and then talking here. I just gotta keep...
Yeah, it's... And I got you reading now, so...
Yeah, and I don't mind. Where was I? Oh.
She was explaining kind of what's going on.
Yes. And for whatever reason, the beings in charge have all disappeared. Yeah. I opened the river to get all that juicy information. Now we're going to the other places to gain a better understanding of how this ship functions. And maybe find the pan-cultural, ultra-dimensional communication apparatus. Izzy said that last bit clunky
and slow.
Clunkily and slow.
I think clunky is
clunky and slow.
Yeah.
But managed to get it out.
A pan-cultural, extra-dimensional, but big words, you know?
Right.
Ultra-dimensional.
Just as if they teleported, they were at the base of the mountain. After a moment, Renner said, "When we split up, will we be able to communicate?" Izzy shrugged and pointed over to something different, only a mile or so out. It was...
Do you want to just... Is that...
Give me a second to, parse this out, because you have a...
She's kind of telling what she thinks is happening to Renner, so that way he's on the same page. Right? That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
So Renner can be like, okay, this is what you're thinking, let's figure it out from here, and that's why he says, well, are we going to be able to communicate to each other and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
They're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
they like to communicate a lot non-verbally together, don't they?
What do you mean?
She shrugs and pointed over to something different only a mile or so out, and there's not a lot of dialogue yet.
Yeah, it's like, she just said all the things she knows.
Yeah.
And he says a question, and she's like, I don't know. Whatever, look over there. What's that? A mile or so out, which is, 15-minute walk? But they're going to do it in about 30 seconds.
It was what at first appeared to be... Oh, geez. Okay, hold on.
Being made structure.
Okay, I see now. It was what at first appeared to be a being made structure that looked like it had held over the centuries. You don't know how to type.
It was what at first appeared to be.
Okay. That looked like it had been held over the centuries. that it had
Had
held.
held.
That okay.
That it held together. Right, that's the idea.
Yeah. When they approached the box, they noticed that it wasn't steel and glass. It was a series of vines all along the edges of the box, twisting at the top, up into a large knot. The glass was not glass, but a kind of sap that was super transparent, and, in the center, clear and undistorted. Which is why you could clearly see, undistorted, a bioluminescent tree. The bioluminescence making it look like it stretched out past its branches. As they got closer, they saw a gap where the sap did not go. A tall doorway, the wind whipping just outside, so that people could get into it and see it up close. Izzy stopped Renner, who was all too eager to explore the strange tree. Chi?
Yeah, they're chi.
This strange tree. What if it's like drugs or mind control? Izzy cautioned. Renner laughed. Then, if I go in, then I'll go, and if drugs, I'll wave you in. And if it's mind control, he shrugged as he passed the vine-made barrier, I guess I'll wave you in. Oh gosh, I love that so much.
We've read that a couple times, so we're not laughing as hard as we normally would, because I think it's funny too.
It's so good.
It's just that's Renner's character. He's just a party, having fun, being a good kid.
Of course,
And,
if it's mind control, I'm gonna wave you in.
And if it's drugs, I mean, let's have some fun. Who knows where we are? We're on an alien ship.
Renner saw it first, but upon healthy, normal breathing, Izzy rolled her eyes and creeped in after to see where... So, okay, I'm already stumbling on this line.
Yeah.
So, we gotta figure out...
It's multiple. But see, this is a sentence, isn't it?
Renner saw it first. Saw what first? Saw the tree first? Saw the drugs first? Saw the mind control first?
Well, I don't know if that's true. It may be a. I think it's just maybe like this. Just ignore it. Upon healthy, normal breathing, as you rolled her eyes and creeped in after to see what an average height tree was planted.
Now, before we move on,
Or maybe had been growing.
we put in this wonderful, great joke. What if it's like drugs or mind control? And he says, then I'll go in, and if it's drugs, I'll wave you in, and if it's mind control, I guess I'll wave you in. Could you have Renner play a little joke on Izzy here?
It's not Renner's style. That would be Hannah. And Izzy would see it coming.
Okay.
Because Izzy and her usually do it together.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
But that's not Renner's style. He wouldn't joke around like that. Especially with Izzy, who's so serious.
Okay. Upon healthy, normal breathing, Izzy rolled her eyes and creeped in after to see where an average height tree had been growing. The branches stretched out high above their heads. It had no leaves, but there was a kind of glowing that seemed to be affected by the wind as it whipped about just outside the barrier. Nothing happened.
Inside the barrier. Yeah, like right on that edge where the thing is.
You have a tall doorway, the wind whipping just outside, too. You have outside in both places.
Yeah, but it's affected. The thing is affected by the wind inside the barrier.
Okay, so you got to change both.
No, because it's outside there and inside here. It's a
tall doorway, the wind whipping just outside.
It is whipping outside, and then when they go inside, the bioluminescent tree is showing the wind coming kind of... You know how when you have your window open just a little bit and you're driving down the road, the wind going out? It's like the wind is brushing by this hole, and the bioluminescence is kind of floating nearby, so you can see it move with that little wind right outside that door, right outside the entryway, because there's no door. It's just an entryway.
Yeah.
So the wind is just kind of blowing in. Not like aggressively or anything, just gently. Okay. So inside the barrier, it's being whipped around. Outside the barrier, the wind is whipping around. Inside the barrier, the tree is being whipped around.
Okay. It had no leaves, but there was a kind of glowing that seemed to be affected by the wind as it whipped around just inside the barrier. Nothing happened.
And that nothing happened is the drug, actually. No drugs, no mind control. They're just standing there in front of this really cool bioluminescent tree. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good enough to end it.
And I wanted to reread the other sentence, so that way when I said that nothing happened, that it wasn't just, and nothing happened. So I wanted to complete that idea. Renner looked at Izzy mournfully.
Sorry.
That's alright. Renner looked at Izzy mournfully, the glow of the nearby tree giving her an almost ghostly look. Ghastly look?
I'm not sure. They both fit, and it's just one letter difference, and they're both vowels. So, ghastly looks are more scary. Ghosty looks are more undead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is where we split up. I'll go up the mountain. You go to the lake. You always did like water the most. When you get there, look quickly for a lever and a way for us to synchronize our pull.
I think where it says, you just read it, and I'll go about right here. This right here.
Yeah. You're captain.
Actually, what about? Maybe not smirk, but smile.
Clickety clack clacks.
It's the best part of the podcast. Come on.
Clickety clack.
Clickety clacks all day long.
Alright.
Is that inserted in where does it need to be?
Well, it's almost like there was a joke here. Like, she got dunked underwater without... Or something, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to... No, you don't have to say that.
Why not?
That's too much.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, read it then.
Okay. You always did like water the most. A smile spread across his lips. When you get there, look quickly for a lever and a way for us to synchronize our pull.
I mean, it's Renner's character I'm writing here. That's Renner.
Yeah.
Izzy wouldn't do that. Renner's like the buddy man. He's like patting you on the shoulder, right?
So is there an inside joke to this that...
I don't think so. I think he just knows she likes to swim most.
Okay.
And I think the other three just don't care to swim.
I see.
Well, especially the boys. But then again, the girls never had the gun training the boys had.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so before we continue, because you have, when you get there, look for a way to communicate. Mm-hmm. So your sentence literally says, when you get there, look quickly for a lever and a way for us to synchronize our pull. When you get there, look for any way to communicate. I
could just put and look for any way to communicate.
There's a lot of ands in this sentence.
Then I think the thing about and is you only need and for the last thing. That's the trick with and.
Quickly look for a lever, a way for us to synchronize our pull, and look for a way to communicate.
Yeah. So what I need to do is leave that and remove this and, right?
Yes.
Bye and.
Comma after lever.
Comma.
I'll do the same. Izzy hugged him and said, I feel like we're going to be okay. And they went their separate ways.
Maybe a little bit of Hannah saying, I'm still here. I'm still worrying about you, you know?
Uh-huh.
All right. So.
What a moment that has to be for Hannah. She can send her feelings out, but she can't feel
feel them. But she knows when they're receiving her feelings, too. Okay. She knows if they're there receiving the feelings. She's like, that's why she's the anchor. Because she can not only, and you actually, in the future, she does get the ability to, I think, feel the other ones. It eventually comes, but it took something powerful, and we haven't gotten there yet. That's not for another 2 chapters.
Yes. As Izzy approached...
That's the coolest part of the story.
And they went their separate ways. Okay, so
now we're watching Izzy, and Renner took off.
Yeah,
he's heading to the mountain.
Okay, I already see kind of an issue here. As Izzy approached the water, it's a big jump. It should be at the lake. Izzy approached the water. Izzy approached the water. She noticed it didn't seem to shift and slosh around its reservoir. Instead, it was still and clear. She took off her boots and socks. When her feet touched the sand for the first time, she noticed it seemed to cling together, and also to her. Her feet were covered in sand until she stuck her feet in the cool water.
Hold on. Oh, right. I shows up. Is that better?
All right, let me read it again. When she
That's not in there.
When her feet touched the sand for the first time, she noticed it seemed to cling together, and also to her. Which I feel like is a funny thing to say, because sand, as soon as you touch it, does cling to you.
But it's doing something.
I know,
it's supposed to, because it's doing something.
I understand.
And it will turn out, you'll understand why it's clinging.
I just want you to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know how else to get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sand clings to you, but not like this. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
And not like normal
right here,
sand.
yeah. She couldn't help but feel like the sand was holding onto her.
Nice.
Her feet were covered in sand until she stuck her feet into the cool, clear water.
It came out clean and dry.
Notice, it was dry.
It was dry.
Which, I mean,
Yes.
I think when I read that last, I overlooked that. Like, dry, and then it wasn't dry in my head when I read it. Anyway.
She hesitated at first, but then removed the rest of her outer garments, closed her eyes, remembered the plan. Izzy just ran in as fast as she could. She felt very little resistance that one would come to expect from running into a body of water. She peeked her eyes open. When she did, she instinctively gasped, letting in the oxygen. Her eyes were open, and she was standing, breathing normally at the bottom of a lake bed. There were fish swimming all around her, and various kinds of plants growing in the bottom. Whew. He hair reaching.
I have big old stubby fingers.
He hair reaching. Her hair reaching for the surface. There was fish swimming all around her, and various kinds of plants growing in the bottom. Out of curiosity, she lifted one foot off the sand. She could feel the release, as if understanding the call of the water. Okay.
That's not the end of the sentence. She could feel the release, as if understanding the call of the water. She leapt into the water surrounding her and swam faster than any other human has.
So she's fully submerged.
Yes, on the ground, as if she's walking like normal.
And then, so from
With
the
her hair all-
ground, underwater, she leaps into the water.
She goes whoosh, up.
Or she
Maybe
leapt,
I need to put up. Let me put that. Where is
She
it?
leapt through the water.
She leapt up. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, keep going.
Where
There.
is
Keep right there.
Slept onto. She leapt up into the water surrounding her and swam faster than any other human ever has.
Okay.
Any other human. Any human.
It was an experience unlike anything on Earth. Well, good, because they're not on Earth. However, the feel of the movement...
The ease. The feel of the movement, comma. However, the feel of the movement, the ease at which one can swim, made it easy to search the floor of the lake.
Okay.
I think there's just a comma missing, right? There should be a comma. Why is that not a comma? There.
The ease.
Also, the way it broke up the sentence of the page.
Yeah. The ease at which one can swim made it easy. Oof. Okay. Made it easy to search the floor of the lake.
It's just swimming really fast, kind of exploring.
I know,
the
but
surface.
ease and easy in the same sentence.
Where is it?
You have the
right,
ease at which.
And then easy, I see.
Right.
Simple.
Simple would be better. Made it simple to search the floor of the lake.
So, however, the feel of the movement and the ease, maybe there's an and missing, and the ease at which one can swim made it simple for Izzy to search the floor of the lake.
Okay, that feels a lot better.
It took, not was.
It took a lot of effort, still, It took a lot of effort still, but she managed to come upon a rather ornately carved marble-like structure. When she was close enough to see, there was a plocket.
Pocket. There's no L. I did not mistype. That was her misspeaking. I did not mistype that.
I was reading.
I do mistype a lot.
I was reading the line above it at the same time.
Oh.
When she was close enough to see, there was a pocket of air with a rather large lever.
In the center. I didn't type
When
that.
she was close enough to see... When she was close enough to see, there was a pocket of air with a rather large lever in the center.
Like, in this marble structure, there's a pocket of air with a lever in the center.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the way it makes me think of people who live underwater when they have to use the restroom, they go to this place that's outside the wherever they're in, and it's like the diving bell, and they can go in there and go to the bathroom in the oxygen. It's like, instead of a toilet, it's a lever. And you don't poop on the lever. All right.
Okay. People who live underwater, they just poop in the water like the fish.
No, I mean the, like, people living in like stations under the water, deep in the ocean. There are people who live down there. I was watching Lex Friedman on YouTube.
Okay.
And he was interviewing, I think it was either that or Andrew Huberman. And he was interviewing someone who had done that, who had lived down there. And he said that that's how they do it. And there was one time he was doing that, and a shark appeared outside the diving bell. Outside the place where you go to the bathroom. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
It's kind of like an outhouse, you know?
Well, at least
outside this
At least
area.
he can relieve himself in that moment.
That's what he said. I don't really know for sure.
He stuck her feet to the lake floor and walked in. Inside the room, there was carving all around. Inside the room, there was carving all around.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Function her eyes
Down. Right? Nope. Keep going.
Down?
Nope. Go left.
This way.
Left.
She reached to feel
Left.
Inside the room, there's a carving all around. Okay, inside the marble room. The marble gas bubble.
Marble room.
You
There
could
was
do marble gas bubble too, or air bubble.
inside the marble room. There
Inside
were
the
carvings all around.
There were carvings on the marble, yeah. Like
Put an S
the
in
marble itself has carvings on it.
Just do me a favor and put an S in the end of carving.
There were carvings. Or there was. There are. Okay, so read it again.
Inside the marble room, there was carvings all around. She stared at them, each one distinct from the others.
This isn't right.
Okay.
This needs to be
Clack, 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 clack.
on the marble.
Inside the marble room, there was carvings on the marble. On the walls. Inside the air bubble room, there was carvings on the marble.
So the idea is there's a lever, and you walk in. So she's now by that lever and looking at the marble structure and seeing carvings of different stuff on it. Yeah, she doesn't have a chance to look at it.
Yeah,
so
she stared.
We do see them later.
She stared at them, each one distinct from the others. She reached out to feel them, and that's when she heard someone say something. It was broken up and distant, so she ignored it, looking for something to hear better. Renner, is that you? Can you hear me? Izzy shouted from her tiny bubble. Then a panicked, Izzy, pull the lever! He shouted. Instinctively, Izzy pulled the lever, causing a great earthquake. I hope it works, she said, as Renner took a step out of her, holding an assault rifle.
Just out of nowhere, you got an assault rifle. Hell, you gonna kill somebody.
I just love it. Oh, he just has an assault rifle. Like,
and then, so that's actually kind of where we're pausing, and you see these three dots here.
Yeah.
That's what these three dots represent, is we're now moving to a different perspective.
Yes.
Because now we're talking what happened to Renner going to the mountain.
Yes, and I like how you kind of start this.
And this is it.
Yeah.
Once we're done with this, chapter 2 is over. We're not doing too bad.
Yeah.
It's about the same as last time.
That's okay. I don't have to wake up early in the morning. Renner left Izzy regretfully. His worry for his sister's safety greater than his own.
Probably because of Hannah, right?
Maybe. As he passed around the base of the mountain, he passed by several small buildings. As he walked around the base of the mountain?
Yes. As he passed. What the heck? That's he passed by. I repeated it too.
Yeah. As he walked around the base of the mountain, he passed by several small buildings, looking into each one carefully as he walked by them. When he came upon a building that looked like it was built by sorry, more liquids. Give me a moment.
Do you need more?
We're good. My drink is a little more harsh, and so it doesn't help with the soothing, where your drink is a lot more soothing. Looking into each one carefully as he walked by them, when he came upon a building that looked like it was built by a Native American tribe. When he entered it, it was empty save for a stool where a tactical assault rifle with a round canteen filled with water sat atop a clip on the ground. After a school shooting happened in a neighboring school district, the uncles taught the boys how to properly use and take care of various types of firearms.
So now there's an interesting thing here, because they both had uncles, but because one were a set of boys and one were a set of girls, different things happened.
Yeah.
Right? And so the boys got gun training, while Izzy got sword fighting. I don't think Hannah wants to fight, you know?
Yeah.
But it's funny what happens, because even though she doesn't want to fight, she can do it in the end of this story. And no one can stop her. She's the most powerful. It's awesome.
You were still caught.
Huh?
Your audio is still cut.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go to the bathroom. So we'll break. Just take a break.
Take a break.
You can read it again.
Taking a break.
Read it again.
Oh, boy. After a school shooting happened in a neighboring school district. So, okay, the uncles. Their uncles taught the boys. That's what I was like, the uncles.
The uncles of the family. But yeah, their uncles work still.
After a school shooting happened in a neighboring school district, their uncles taught the boys how to properly use and take care of various types of firearms. So when he held this gun, he knew that only his brother can handle the gun better than him. He left the building and continued his trip around the base of the mountain until he came upon a cave.
All right. I feel like Renner's story needs to be worked on, but not yet. It's more this end part.
Yeah, that's fine. We can...
So we get the idea that he was trained by his uncles to make sure that they know how to use guns. Which is really important, because if you're going to use a gun, you should know how to use it. Period. End of statement.
Yeah.
There should be no confusion about what everything is.
Well, and not only that,
it's a dangerous tool.
Like, even if you don't personally use a gun, or you don't personally have a gun, knowing how a gun works and someone else is going to come to use it on you, it's good to know bits of information. So, like, and movies do this kind of funny joke, oh, the safety is on. Like, you could... you
would know if you understood the gun. You would know whether the safety was on or not.
Right.
In fact, I'm pretty sure you can, like, feel it in the trigger. Like, it's stopped. You cannot pull the trigger. There's no leniency. So you would know. You would be able to test it really quick, too.
So, even giving them that kind of knowledge where they can not even use guns, but understand.
I have no clue if I'm right, though. Neither one of us are gun people. No. We know nothing about guns.
I have a fear of guns because of a couple of instances in my childhood.
I mean, do you want to go into them? At all?
No,
just out of
not
curiosity.
Really.
Okay.
Not really. And I don't care other people having guns. I just don't personally like them.
Okay, so we went to THEIR. And that was the only really needed thing that we've done. And it's right here. Right? So an Otto is better than him. Otto is... It's like if Renner's really good at being beefy, Otto's really good at being agile.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have
so he's good with the smoothness of the gun and knowing how to do it.
Yeah, you have the soldier.
And he likes it.
You have the soldier and the ranger.
Yeah. And the soldier's dog. That soldier's dog is a pretty terrifying thing. And if anyone wants to know, look up Russian bear dog. Those things are absolutely enormous, beautiful, and sweet, and that's what I'm trying to pull here. So if you really want to know what dog I'm talking about, look up Russian bear dog. So pretty. Anyway.
He left the building and continued his trip around the base of the mountain until he came upon a cave. He walked closer and saw that the cave was covered in a metal that seemed to move and squirm. It only twitched as he walked through deeper into the cave.
Oh, that's a bad repetition.
Inside, he saw two pathways going to the right and the left. And ahead of him was a large room. In the center...
There's a comma I missed.
No, not only that. Okay.
In the center of the room.
Hold on.
A large...
Inside, he saw two pathways going to the right and left. Period.
Oh, good point. And then the and can go away.
And then the and can go away.
I'm good at and, aren't I? I can type that word really well.
Ahead of him was a large room. In the center of the room, a large pillar of lava, seeming to flow both up and down.
So, I can actually do something cool here.
Ooh.
And if I was recording, this would be really good. So there's a pathway this way, and a pathway this way, and then a room kind of... There's a wall pathway, and then a room here.
Oh, okay, so there's not
like
a
a
pathway.
lava thing here, and there's like a cone with like things.
It's like a little cul-de-sac off of the side of a road.
Yes. In a lot of ways, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
I'm still on the pen. Why am I still on the pen? Go away.
Go to arrow. Arrow. Go to clicker.
There you go. Okay.
A massive cone wrapped around the lava.
Oh, I didn't realize you were up there.
The base of the lava was surrounded by a large round table carved out of marble. On the table were several small, clear slimes. The little things were chittering softly. Deep in the cone, there came a kind of ringing that one would usually only hear at the pearly gates of heaven, or maybe the depths of hell, surrounded by the screams of the guilty. What you highlighting?
Deep in the cone?
A massive cone wrapped around the lava.
Yeah, that wasn't what I meant. It's more like... You know what that ringing is. I don't know why I would say it's in the cone. Unless maybe it was like the slimes were doing it because they're a part of him.
Well, the whole point of this is to figure out what happened when you're
so,
writing.
So back from the entrance, there came a kind of ring. That one only hears at the pearly gates of heaven, or maybe in the depths of hell, surrounded by the screams of the guilty. What does that say to you? I'm saying something very specific here.
It's ethereal and unexplainable and...
Judgment. Morals. You're either doing the right thing or the wrong thing, depending on what you hear.
Oh.
You know? If he doesn't like you, you're going to be scared of that ringing. It's going to be the depths of hell. But if he likes you, so at this moment, that creature doesn't even know he's there. And he isn't aware of what that means. So he's hearing both and kind of confused about it.
Oh, okay.
But when Troon gets to know him, this monster, it changes depending on who you are. And you still hear the ringing, and it's like echoing deep back inside of you.
Okay.
It's like reverberating on your emotional state. So if you're calm, the ringing is fine. And if you're not calm, the ringing is a nightmare. And you'll see that with Otto. Otto freaks out. This ringing is not his friend.
I see.
And it caused the nightmares.
Yeah. Either way, it made Renner back out slowly, seemingly entranced by the sights and sounds, his mouth agape. In a feat of bad luck, the extra clip fell out of his pocket, clanking miserably to the floor. He bent down to grab it, and when he looked back up, there were eyes all around the cone looking for the source of the noise.
Like the slimes had eyes.
And a little slimy
eyes.
The little clear slimes had eyes.
Little slimy eyes.
When he looked back up,
he wasn't. They weren't
slimy,
looking at him. They didn't know he was there. He was being quiet, and then all of a sudden, quack, crap, and that's clear.
Yeah.
The
little things are chittering. They're so cute. They're so dangerous, but they're so cute.
What about that? Spitting and chittering softly.
They're less cute now.
Is it? I'm trying to get the sliminess of it. You know?
I don't think you necessarily... You got slimy pretty down. They're clear slimes.
They're creepily chittering. Oh, no.
Yeah. Unluckily.
Oh, let me just move this up and then I'll smooth the screen up and we can continue.
Ote. Oh, wow. Unluckily, Renner was the source of the noise.
That they were looking for.
Yes, I understood that.
I just want to make sure it was said.
But it kind of ruined the sentence a little bit.
Go ahead and restart it. Sorry.
Unluckily, Renner was the source of the noise. Luckily, he knew where to go. As he ran out of the room, he took a left, followed the hallway until... Ooh, geez, I am reading too fast. As he ran out of the room, he took a left and followed the hallway around until Renner came upon a door. He pushed on it and swung it open. Inside the room, he searched for anything to cover the...
That should be right. I'm so happy I caught that, because that is a huge continuity error. Because it said in the Babbling Brook, turn right.
Did it?
Uh-oh, we need to look. I'm pretty sure it said turn right.
We just read it, too.
I know. There's help. Flipped it out. Right. In the cave, the marble to the right is the lever. Okay. Just making sure.
And this is why we
This is why you edit. You know, that's the exact reason why you edit.
Alright, inside the room, he searched for anything to cover the...
Door. Is that not in there? I did that. Remember, I already see that.
Up.
Cover the door. Oh, hinder. What's it? What does it chase after you? What chases after you? Hunter.
Hainter.
Hainters.
Hainters.
Hey, hunters. Hate hunters. Hate hunters.
Hate hunters?
It's like haters, but they're hunting.
Inside the room, he searched for anything to cover the door to hinder his hunters. Wow, that's a lot of H's.
Hinter those who are hunting.
Nah, I like hinter his hunters.
Hinter the monsters. To hinder the monsters. That's what he's doing, right? He's hindering whatever those monsters are. That's what he's trying to do. He's going to try and block the door. He's just scanning the room, not seeing much except for another door.
Yeah.
Okay?
His eyes scoured the room, but got nothing except another door. This one apparently suddenly. This one appeared suddenly. Oh my good night.
Almost as if it wasn't there at first.
Right.
Maybe he glanced over it, or maybe poof. Maybe I should put that in there.
Hold on. Let me read it again and see if you can still get that feeling. His eyes scoured the room, but got nothing. Except another door. This one appeared suddenly. Yeah, right there.
Oh, that's not the except. That's not what I wanted. I wanted after. That's the beginning of the sentence.
There you go. Except another door that had appeared suddenly.
Or this one appearing.
Okay.
Because it's like the act of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't do it
Except
fast.
another door, this one appearing suddenly. He then made a mistake. He looked back to see the shifting slimes were in the room behind him. He let out a few choice curses, and he saw the metal sliding into the room.
When he saw the metal.
Oh, when he saw the metal. Ow. Okay. He let out a few choice curses when he saw the squirming metal sliding into the room. Looking back in the room, he saw a lever. Okay, you have a lot of room going on here.
Yes, I do. You tell me to do that. I'm just ahead a little bit.
Looking back into the sudden appearing room.
No, into the room he was. He went through the door and looked back into the room.
Yeah, he's.
Oh wait.
Yeah, he's looking at the squirming slimes.
Oh.
And then he looking back at the lever room. Or looking around the room. Clack, 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 clack.
Looking back into the room he had just entered, he saw a lever.
Okay, I like that better.
He saw a lever sticking out of the center of the floor.
So...
jutting.
The next sentence. The next sentence you'll have to get rid of. Because he entered the room in a panic. He's already in the room. How can he enter the room in a panic?
Oh, he pulled the lever. He went to pull the lever. Yeah.
Or he looked around the room in panic because he's still got to figure out how to...
Well, he went to pull the lever in a panic. He heard Izzy ask, "Renner, is that you? Can you hear me?" He went to go pull the lever in a panic.
Okay, so he wasn't...
I mean, what else can he do? He's being chased by living metal. What are you going to do about that?
I put lever right there.
So he went, oh.
Okay. He went to pull the lever in a panic. He heard Izzy ask, "Renner, is that you? Can
Well, I guess
you
you
hear me?"
could do this too. Oh. So as he went for the lever in a panic, he heard it and then shouted,
"Izzy, pull the lever!" He shouted as he reached for the lever himself. The metal was in the room with him, the eyes all around the metal. Oh, okay, hold on. It's a lot of unbroken
"Yeah,
words.
I know.
Wee.
We're really good. We're doing really good." Okay,
Yeah.
so the living metal was in the room with him.
The eyes all around. Eyes all around. Eyes embedded?
Embedded all around the metal were independently blinking and looking at him.
Okay, so it's...
So like there's all these eyes appear in this living metal and they're all looking at him and blinking different times. It's really disturbing. They're independently blinking on their own and looking directly at him.
Okay.
And it's just this massive metal right in front of him with eyeballs. It's terrifying.
So now it's no longer lots of little slimes. It's one big amalgamation.
No. In fact, what you learn is that the slimes are the saliva of this creature.
Right, but it sounds like they all kind of like bubbled together.
The slimes are a different thing entirely.
I understand.
Right?
Yeah. But it's still
but they're not the eyes.
But like, okay, so if you think of water, okay, saliva, water, same thing.
Well,
so
I would say the consistency is different and the chemical composition.
Probably, okay, but listen to what I'm going
But they're
to
both liquids. Yes.
Oh my good night. So, like, when you see water and it starts to, like, you get two droplets, and, I mean, every player who plays this game when you're driving in a car and it's raining, you see two droplets running down and they bloop together.
I see it. I don't know how to play a game.
Oh, there's so many games you can play with that. It's so much fun. Anywho.
So the idea here is that this big mass of living metal is coming and coming to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And he's the first one that sees this. This thing is nasty looking. I can't say it enough. The problem is I can't describe it as nasty because it's basically just liquid metal.
Yeah, it's...
But the way he chooses to form himself is terrifying. And that's intentional.
Yes. Okay. Renner got a knot in his stomach as he felt something coming from the monster, a feeling that induced his instinct to fight. He aimed the assault rifle at
it, ready to fight.
Oh, at it, ready to fight, when Izzy wenched him. He walked out of Izzy as she said, "I hope that worked." He aimed the assault rifle at all the eyes, ready to fight. Put a comma there.
That's a good way of putting it, I think. All the eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one thing missing. I don't have enough of the slime. The slime could even touch him, and it'd be okay. Like he's getting a taste of Renner. You know?
Not sure about that. I mean, like, what would this thing do if it touched him? And
the thing would crush him like a child crushing a blueberry. Just
yeah. So it touching him is
not
necessarily the best thing for
the slime. The slime is its saliva. So it wouldn't crush him. It would start to dissolve him. That's why it could touch him and it'd be okay. It could grab onto him.
You just said it would crush them.
No, Troon would.
I know
the metal would.
And I asked, what would the slimes do?
Oh, I'm sorry. They would just try and dissolve him. They would get onto him and start breaking him down. And which is what I think I'm trying to get to here, because the metal lumbered slowly. But the slimes were at his...
Okay, so that's an issue.
What?
So, you had the slimes, but I don't really remember seeing a distinct form of living metal. I thought we were talking about the slimes. And so maybe that's where my confusion is.
Actually, there's more than just the slimes.
Uh-huh.
Every function that this beast has is taken by a different monster. So the slimes are its saliva, and if it wanted to have teeth, it would send its teeth out. And you would have these calcified chunks come in and mash at you.
Okay.
You know? It's just... How do you want to see what this monster could be, really?
That's fine and dandy.
Expand this thing. I love True.
I know. But here's what I'm saying is I did not get the impression that the slimes and the living metal were a separate thing that was happening in this scene. I thought the slimes and the living metal were the exact
I know,
same.
I'm hearing you, and I'm saying it's not that way.
Okay.
They're two separate beasts, but just like Zig is multiple things, Troon is too.
Okay, my dear.
What are you confused about? What am I missing?
You don't make it clear that they're... That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So I thought this area needed the most work.
Yeah. I don't know where the living's metal was not the slime. That's what I'm saying. I'm not reading it.
Well, so what we see here is at the base of the mountain, he passed by some small buildings, looked inside, got the assault rifle, learned about what his uncles did, and he knew what he's doing. Brother got it. Okay. Continued to the base of the mountain where he walked up into the cave. The cave is the entrance to the mountain.
Yep.
And he walked into the cave, and he saw that the cave was covered in a metal that seemed to move and squirm.
Okay, so there's the metal.
Right? And so we have that, and then it twitched, like it's moving in response to him in a way. Like he's walking, and it's twitching because it hears the click of the boots, you know?
Click, 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 click.
Or thud. Thump. That. Thud. Maybe the thud of his boots.
The HUD?
So he walked closer and saw that the cave was covered in metal that seemed to squirm and move with the thud of his boots. There. But it only twitched as he walked deeper into the cave. As he walked through deeper into the...
And you do say there's small clear slimes and there's living metal, yes.
Yes, I'm trying to differentiate them, but they are the same beast. So the problem is you're right. I'm trying to get across that they're the same thing. They're working in tandem at least.
And that's fine. I just was trying to like smooth out this living metal and slimes as a separate thing in this scene that we're talking about, and I wanted to make sure it was clear.
So and then so after all that metal slime goes away, he walks into this next room and there's some slimes gathered around the lava there. They're feasting on something. And their attention is focused away from him, and that's why he was fine until he clacked.
Okay.
So there is a differentiation. It's the clack draws in the slimes, and then the metal starts coming. He doesn't see the metal until he's in the next room. Then he sees the metal, and it's like, holy shit.
Go down to the next paragraph, real quick.
Right here or up here?
Down there. Okay.
Oh, this is where he loses the clip.
Ba-da-ba-da-boo. He looked back at the shifting slimes. Okay. Oh. What are you doing?
What the heck? Usually I can make this just... Yeah.
He's just pushing all the wrong buttons. Hey, there's a little arrow off to your... Yep.
There it is. Jeez. Weird. Okay.
Okay, so hold on a second. Maybe there's a little spot that I'm seeing that might help shift this out. So back to seeing the shifting slimes were in the room behind him. Period.
Hold the hallway until the door.
Down one.
Behind him.
There we go. He let out a few choice curses when he saw the squirming metal.
Yeah.
Okay. See
so
this?
he runs into this first room. And he sees the slimes coming after him. He actually sees the slimes coming after them and then runs into the room. And he looks back expecting to see the slime, and he sees the liquid metal coming around the corner. He's freaking out. Right? Behind him. And he, and then he saw the squirming metal, right? And, the slimes are there. They're coming into the room, and the liquid metal's coming around the corner.
Is the liquid metal a little faster than the slimes?
Yes.
Okay.
Until he breaks the door, and his eyes open, and he just starts lumbering towards it.
Okay. So
Because then the
he
slimes
let out
are
a few
his
choice
boots.
curses when he saw the squirming metal sliding into the room faster than the slimes, and that would separate them a little
But
bit.
he's not. It's faster than the slimes, but it's not ahead of the slimes in the end. The slimes get up to him before the liquid metal can. He's just further away, so he had to get there.
Right, but it's moving faster, and so that would help. I don't know, your mind's eye to notice a little bit of a difference. You see what I'm saying?
Right here.
You having problems? What you thinking?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what I'm writing here. So his eyes scoured the room, but he got nothing except another door. This one appearing suddenly. He then made a mistake. He looked back. Where he saw the shifting slimes were in the room right behind him. Right? Isn't that better?
Type it out and I can see what you're talking about. Read it out loud.
You read it out loud.
Read it out loud, starting when
He then made a mistake. He looked back where he saw the shifting slimes were in the room right behind him. I wrote her.
Where her saw.
Funny. Okay. Where he saw... I got fat fingers. He let out a few choice curse words, maybe.
Yeah, but you have he saw. When he noticed the squirming liquid sliding into the room, and that would help separate the two.
Yeah. When he...
Noticed.
Well, it's like a horror word.
That is a good question. I am not entirely certain.
Broke. When the squirming metal broke into the room, or no, because he's just sliding. What did you say? What was you saying?
Noticed.
Noticed is fine. I couldn't punch it up.
Put a D. Think.
Shouldn't have used two fingers for that.
I don't know why you used two fingers for that.
Not like they were both ready, so they just did it. Looking back at the room he had just entered, he saw the lever. The lever is fine. Jutting out of the floor. Let's put the. I like that one. When he went to pull the lever in a panic, hearing Izzy ask, "Renner, is that you? Can you hear me?" "Izzy, pull the lever!" he shouted as he reached for the lever himself. The living metal was in the room with him this time. His eyes embedded all around the metal, were independently blinking and looking directly at him. The metal lumbered slowly, but the slimes were at his boots. Renner got a knot in his stomach as if he felt something coming from the monster, a feeling that induced his instinct to fight. He aimed the assault rifle at all the eyes, ready to fight, when Izzy winched him. He walked out of Izzy, exasperated, as she said, "I hope that worked."
That's starting to feel a lot better.
I gotta spell words.
Expartated.
What was I trying to say? I can't even remember the original word.
Right click on it. It's
Exasperated.
Exasperated. Expartated.
Exasperated. Jeez. It's a complicated word.
It is a very
He walked out of Izzy exasperated as she said, "I hope that worked." That's the end of chapter 2. You met the deadly beast. You met Renner and Izzy in their hardest moments, and
hoping
see a little bit of the new space. This thing where the children are going to be. I can't call them kids. They're 18. Where these new kids, these new adults. I just said kids again. These new adults are brand new adults are going to have no troubles with anything besides the real problem. because this is Zig. They don't know yet. The listeners don't know yet, but this is Zig. Zig is the representation, the name of the thing they're in. And this pan-cultural, pan-dimensional, or ultra-dimensional the communication apparatus is the person that is the ship. Why was I saying that? I was getting to some. So this whole thing is going to take place mostly on this place, where there's a very set setting. And
listen. Just from this right here, do you think they simultaneously pulled that lever, or is there a chance Renner was a little closer?
I think that the panic that Renner's voice had in it when Izzy heard it, they like synced up at that moment. Like, she heard the panic, he was reaching for the lever, they did it, you know? It was just perfect. And it couldn't have gone any better, especially since Renner's the one who dropped the clip. And he probably could have just avoided that if he had put the clip more securely in his pocket or something.
He needs to get better pockets.
Yeah, pockets.
He needs to not get wenched, off of Earth into an alien spaceship with bad pockets.
Yeah. It's also bad that he doesn't have bunker. He should really have bunker up here, right?
Yeah, he should.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, Zig's right next. He's next character everyone's gonna meet. We can leave it right there, though.
Exciting.
So, love you all. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Let us know if you like the book in the comments below. Like, subscribe, that nonsense. Thank you. Oh, that's the record button. I should